You're born in a private medical wing overlooking a coastline dotted with tankers. Your father doesn't reserve a room. He buys silence. The entire floor secured, phones confiscated. 2 private security teams rotate outside the entrance. The hospital board signs non-disclosure agreements before you even take your first breath. When you cry for the first time, oil futures in Asia are already opening. And somewhere in a glass tower across the ocean, executives are quietly congratulating your father. You didn't choose this world, but it was engineered for you long before you existed. Your childhood unfolds inside estates designed like private kingdoms, marble floors imported from Italy, art worth more than small towns, helipads instead of driveways. From your bedroom window, you don't see playgrounds, you see refineries, steel towers breathing controlled fire into the sky. Even before you understand multiplication, you understand one rule. Your family doesn't follow markets. Markets follow your family. You don't attend school. School comes to you. Economics at 6, energy geopolitics at 8, corporate law at 10. Your father says it often. Energy is leverage. Leverage is power. You don't fully grasp it yet, but you notice something else. You are never alone. There is always a driver, always an assistant, always discreet security at a distance. You are protected and quietly monitored. At 11, you overhear your first real conversation. Sanctions, pipeline disputes, currency manipulation, governments negotiating behind closed doors. You realize something unsettling. Oil is not just fuel, it's strategy. It determines which countries grow and which collapse. At 13, you attend your first board meeting. You sit at the far end of a glass table longer than a limousine. 20 executives, screens showing live barrel prices, maps with blinking routes across oceans. Your father speaks calmly. A single decision shifts supply in 2 regions. Within hours, global prices move. Billions change direction. No applause, just quiet nods. Because in this room, that kind of influence is normal. And one day, that chair will be yours. Your education becomes surgical. You shadow the CFO. He doesn't speak in money, he speaks in nations. Our quarterly shift, he explains one afternoon, exceeds the GDP of smaller countries. You learn about strategic reserves, offshore subsidiaries, political lobbying budgets, emergency supply manipulations. The empire isn't oil wells, it's a web, shipping fleets, refining networks, energy derivatives markets, investment arms that quietly own infrastructure worldwide. You begin to understand the scale. If your family slows production by 2%, markets panic. If you accelerate supply, currencies stabilize. Power at this level isn't loud, it's structural. At 15, you receive your first custom suit. At 16, an armored electric vehicle. Not because you're reckless, because influence attracts volatility. Your father explained something quietly during a private flight. When you control energy, you influence politics. When you influence politics, you create enemies. You nod. But what you really feel is weight. Publicly, your family funds environmental initiatives, scholarships, hospitals, renewable startups. Privately, strategy sessions run late into the night. You observe negotiations with ministers. Energy ministers speak carefully. Presidents request cooperation. Your father never raises his voice. He doesn't need to. When your family's output determines heating costs for millions of homes, your silence is leverage. At 18, you enroll in an elite university. Officially, you are a business student from a wealthy family. Unofficially, markets react to rumors about your succession. Classmates admire your lifestyle, but no one truly knows you. Because your last name enters rooms before you do. You are respected, but not neutral. You are visible, but not free. At 21, you begin attending crisis simulations, oil spill scenarios, political coups in supplier regions, cyber attacks on pipelines. You learn how fragile dominance is. One blocked strait can destabilize continents. One diplomatic error can cost billions. The empire must appear permanent. But internally, it is constantly defending itself. Late at night, in penthouses overlooking cities illuminated by energy your family supplies. You ask yourself a question you never voice aloud. Who would you be without this? If your father owned a small shop, if your surname didn't influence currencies, if failure didn't echo globally. But failure for you is not personal, it's geopolitical. At 24, your father grows quieter. He has survived price wars, hostile takeovers, political shifts, energy transitions. He ages faster than men his age. Stress leaves marks deeper than wealth can conceal. One evening, he tells you, "The empire isn't what traps you, responsibility is." You finally understand. You weren't raised for freedom. You were raised for continuity. By 25, the board begins looking at you differently. Not as a child, not as a student, as succession. Analysts speculate, markets anticipate. The empire doesn't simply belong to you. You belong to it. Your childhood shaped for it. Your education engineered for it. Your relationships filtered through it. You were born into power, but power came with walls. You can acquire anything except anonymity. You can influence nations except your own origin. You are the son of a trillion-dollar oil empire, raised among contracts instead of cartoons, boardrooms instead of playgrounds, surrounded by unimaginable wealth, yet confined by expectation. And the quiet truth is this: when you inherit power at that scale, your life stops being entirely yours. Because in a world powered by energy your family controls, every decision you make will echo far beyond your own existence, and there is no such thing as walking away.